Well, folks, we have Aristo again, and we missed yesterday. He had things come up in his world that I didn't know about and ended up having to record another video. But today we're going to talk about fate and destiny. Aristo, take it away.
Thank you, Ron. Yes, yesterday I did have a lot of stuff. In fact, I didn't think I would have a lot of stuff to do. But it always tends to happen, you know, when Ron wants to do a video, that's when things keep popping up at unexpected times. Strange situation. And I wonder, is it my fate that this is the way it is? It certainly isn't, or yours, yeah. But again, on the other hand, you, Ron, can do videos anytime. And you're so thoughtful and you have so many things you're observing and you're thinking that there's always topics. You will never dry up, and it's only 10 minutes. So it's not like it's the end of the world. And our video is much more time consuming. So it does drain your day a little bit.
You know, and ironically, this week I had a friend that supplies probably 75% of my news feed. And she's moving this week. So I haven't heard anything from her since I think Friday or Saturday last week was the last I've gotten anything. So I mean, I've had a dearth of a lot less information to draw on than I usually do.
Well, I think that it might be refreshing to change your newsfeed perspective. You know, I don't know what this feed is about, what the details are, but it's always good to just shift perspective and see how you relate to a different kind, as long as it's not bullshit. Or you don't, really recoil from it, to, get another track and stuff. But this whole thing about fate, I mean, it's a cliche topic. And it's something, because I've been seeing some other, talks with a few thoughtful people, talking about things about life and this and that. And I guess maybe since I think about the same things, it's almost quite boring. There's no food for thought for me because, well, yeah, I've thought about the same thing and I go along my own tracks and I may agree or disagree or have an inner dialogue, but it's not a splash of stimulating, something that I can use, for example. So I'm wondering maybe these talks are like that because we do rehash things and a lot of things sound cliche. And at the same time, you look at the establishment stuff, the normal topics that people are into, they're the same old shit over and over again, going round and round and round, and people appear to like them. But they're stimulated constantly with fancy stuff, with sugarcoating, with fanfare, through the media, through TV shows, through, at least for the Anglo-American culture, and maybe a lot of the foreign culture, other cultures too. Because there's a lot of the media is operating at an intense level all over the world now, much more than in decades past. Before it used to be, the big media outlet was the United States, and with TV, Hollywood, and all of that. And now it seems that you have a lot more in other cultures, and so you can surf and you can see they have their versions of the big normal cliche with a capital C. And I'm wondering if these aren't scripts of fate. They certainly aren't destiny. Destiny always has a more positive kind of outlook than fate does, because destiny is our potential. It's what we can do, and combined with what we want to do. It's our aspiration, our ideals, what we feel is worth doing, combined with our capacity to do it, even if that capacity isn't awoken, even if it's dormant or asleep or whatever. So fate is something usually imposed upon us. Fate is something we have to deal with it. Sometimes, however, you have, not sometimes, but in a lot of cases of human response, there is fatalism that says, okay, all there is fate. We're run by external circumstances, and we're like rats in the maze. We may not want this. It has nothing to do with our potential and our fulfillment, but we're stuck here anyways. And it's easy because that is the slave mentality. A slave basically says, I'm tired of fighting. we were talking before here with Ron about, past acquaintances and, things that happened and all of this and that. No details necessary, but essentially a lot of people in the past got beaten down by circumstances. You have these alternative types waking up and let's wake up and let's change the world. And anybody could have come to them and said, well, what do you expect? Of course, they said the same thing. We got to, sacrifice. We got to do whatever. Let's get moving. And my impression would be a lot of people who would say, let's get moving. They would be like, you guys all get moving, and I'll watch, or I'll egg you on, or, and it's almost like, look, it's really hard to do this kind of thing and share in the solidarity because the internet is a non-physical medium. So how are you going to do this? With the internet, you have this. Are you hearing something?
Yes, I am. Go ahead, keep going.
So we can continue as is, which was like, what, 5 minutes or something of disruption?
Well, do you want to start over?
How far away into the video are we?
Well, it's all we lost about 3 minutes with anything. We went about 6 minutes and we're up to 9 now, but that's not all recording stuff. That's a lot of it that was the stuff that was technical difficulties.
Okay. All right. And I'm having problems with my camera's focus. I think it's looking really cloudy. Am I looking cloudy?
You aren't. It is not a clear focus.
Just all of this stuff, it's really crazy. So a little hazy, and then it cleared up, and then it back again.
All right. You just went out and then came right back in again.
Came right back. All right. Let's just continue, and what we can do is just tell the listeners to fast forward to the time when we're back on. Which is like now. We don't have to turn because okay. Sorry folks, this is a video where we've had a little bit of disruption, some glitches. Maybe it's the summer heat. Maybe it's our fate. It is a good example, however, of how fate can disrupt things. We were talking about the alternative movement, or such as it was, or at least here in Ron's circle, of how people would come and everybody would be supportive, and slowly, one by one, people would fall out. And of course, you can't blame them. I don't blame Ram. I don't blame the other people. Everybody has their ideas. But the fact is, you cannot just go out. You can keep stubbornly talking. I mean, that's the thing. People could come back together and keep stubbornly talking, but everybody wants to make a quick, visible difference. In my honest opinion, that ain't gonna happen. Unless we reach a certain potential to make change that's beyond cliche and beyond some visible, some quick and instant or obvious or revolutionary, it's not gonna happen because every single contingency, every single probability, every single path, every chess move has been thought out, worked out, and contingencies have been applied. So the PSYOP was what were you going to say?
Speaking of chess, you mentioned the word chess. And of course, yes, I used to be very good at chess, or at least had the impression that I was good. But now they have the chess champion of the world can't beat the computer.
Yeah, which is obvious.
The computer is smarter than the smartest human.
Yeah, no, it's not smarter. See, this is one of the fallacies we're being fed, because intelligence is a whole different kind. You become stupid because you're convinced you're stupid. So it's another form of being fated, fatalism. Fatalism is imposed stupidity. It's one of the definitions that I would give, not the only one. So everything before our conversation was basically, a little chaotic up to this point, disrupted. You see, this is part of the hero's journey anyways. So, the change that people want to make, the improvements in their lives, good or big. However, if you are really confronting your fate in order to realize your destiny, if you are really doing this, then you're going to meet trials and tribulations. And the reason is because life is a process of digestion. You are consuming your fate in order to nourish your destiny. Okay, so those of you who have had the patience of actually being here up to this point, because we're not going to start the video over, obviously we haven't done so. So here you might hear a few interesting things. And the same thing with all of these movements. I mean, you can dump the movements. They mean nothing, technically. In my honest opinion, the movements mean nothing. People are trying to figure things out. If it's public, it really isn't going to work the way you think it's going to work, because there are forces that are obviously not completely understood. They are concealed. Everything I say is technically speculative. I believe it, but it's still speculative in terms of objective proof. So everything is a risk. And, if I was an authority figure, I'd let half the people who do tell the truth go and discredit them by the fact I'm screwing with the other half, half of them are telling the truth, half of them are not, are mistaken. So you don't know what the truth is. There is no reference frame. However, what you do see is patterns. And also, there are certain inner potentials we have as human beings that are intuitively based, not just logical, not just thinking. But one of the things that's being discredited a lot is the feeling. And it's being discredited in two ways. Our sense of feeling is being discredited by people who say, look at this stupid, these people and their feelings, and feelings. What are these feelings that, and look at them, they're all fools, and they are right. That's the second part of the discrediting. A bunch of people who have no clue what felt sense is, pick up on media cues and bullshit and just ride with it for the sake of their own ego or whatever, and that is being publicized, and that's what everybody sees. They don't see the quiet successes of people with a felt sense that's working, that keeps them going, that helps them navigate through things, and that they cannot prove because any example they may give is hearsay. There is no authority behind the example. So everybody is easily convinced that all you have to do is rely on chess logic. Chess logic is computer logic, and computer logic is programmable logic. The only thing that a computer is, and that's why the transhumanists, in my honest opinion, push it, not because they want to be like that, in my sense, but because the computer is a tool that quickens logical operations. That's all it is. It's just speed. So a computer basically will quicken logical operations. And if you have a chess game, you have a set amount of probable moves. And if you can simulate where those moves are going to take you with the counter moves, then that's all it is. It has no creativity. There's no pattern recognition. The pattern of the moves is the only thing. So all it is running algorithms, basically. And that's what a good chess player does. And it's a big deal because chess is a simulation of battle, you see? So battle basically is a similar thing. And battle is, of course, also unpredictable because there's too many variables. What chess does is shrinks down the variables, and you can actually manage it, and you have the illusion that you are in control. You see, chess is a game of illusion. It's the illusion that two people in conflict are in control of the situation because you have a finite set of probabilities, even though it's a very large set. So eventually the human brain can, and the set of probabilities taxes the limits of the human brain. So it can never encompass all of these probabilities unless it's mutated in some way, but the computer is an adjunct. Now, the best thing would be if a chess player had a computer that would play with him or her on the same side, whereas you press the button and the computer just analyzes, but then in the end, the chess person isn't needed, you see. That's where it says, well, the computer can figure it out because that's all chess is. Chess is a computer game. It's designed for logical mentality. In real life, things are a lot messier. You cannot do linear logic. You have to go differently. Now, most of our conventional definitions of intuition are basically, oh, it's just logic going much faster. A computer can figure it out. But it doesn't. You know, it doesn't, because there are modes of processing that are different. Again, I'm speaking logically though. I'm speaking in terms of modes of processing. Now what?
I'm hearing a noise again.
Oh, I'm not this time. It's not here. It's just got you now. Yeah, somebody's interfering.
I have no idea. Keep talking.
I'll keep talking since it doesn't bother me, you know. That's the thing. If it doesn't bother me, who cares? So, no. The thing is that it's important to be able, and I've always said this, to be perceptive. Just simple things. Be perceptive of what's going on around you, because what you are doing in life, here's an attitude dynamic, is you are digesting your fate, which means that you shouldn't avoid what they call fate. You should learn from your fate in order to slowly transform it into your destiny, because you cannot be in any other place from where you are now, in the present. You can do that in the future. You can aspire to be, so then your next present moment, so to speak, will be a transformed one. You can change your position, but in this specific moment, you cannot deny where you are and hope to do anything functional with it. You will be dysfunctional if you live in denial, because that's where you are living a lie. Now, in the end, we can argue till the cows come home about what is a lie and what is the truth, and that's another one of the logical ploys, because the thing is, feeling cannot be conveyed with words. It can, actually, poetically, but it cannot directly be conveyed, because then you have metaphor. You can approximate, you can dance around, you can spiral around, you can do a dialectic even. That's as close as reason gets, is in a dialectic. Not induction, not deduction, not going from the large to the small or the small to the large, you know, the specific to the general and the general to the specific, but dancing around the topic, speaking metaphorically, like they do in spirituality or in myth. And this type of understanding may not hit the nail on the head, but it doesn't deal with nails and hammers. It's a lot more, shall we say, a lot more organic, a lot softer, a lot more alive. So there's been, in pragmatic cultures like, you know, the US culture, and although it's a culture of mentality, a culture of technology, and I think that's also, and a pragmatic culture, traditionally speaking, you have this aversion to something like philosophy, although you have a lot of philosophers and stuff there. But the thing is, or philosophy turns into some kind of logistical argumentation, where just all it needs to do to be is a functional point of view. You're basically, Sophia, wisdom is basically a point of view that is functional, that you can apply, maybe not directly, but that actually has meaning. And if it can't be applied now, it can be applied in a fashion of destiny, because it pertains to our nature and the nature of the world in some way. Now, there are so-called philosophies that are nihilistic, that deny all of that. Well, arguing if there are even philosophies or not, if they have anything to do with wisdom or not, is like arguing what art is. You know, I mean, it's a vague thing, because it's all based on feeling. And feeling, when healthy, and we all have it, but the thing is, you know, it's not enough to just feel something if you don't know what it is you're feeling. So, but what is also not enough to be logical and thinking without feeling anything or recognizing what you're feeling, because, like, you know, there, like many people say, there are types of intelligence. There's spiritual intelligence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and cognitive intelligence. There is creative intelligence, and very few people actually have them all. So the measuring of intelligence to facilitate the design of technology requires a high IQ. You know, I mean, it requires a scale that is like the intelligence quotient. So this serves a system that requires high technology for their own reasons. But the same system does not like emotional intelligence. It doesn't like spiritual intelligence especially. It fakes these things, and it teaches everybody in it how to fake them. And so everybody smothers the sense of unease when you know you're not functioning properly. or up to snuffs, as it were, or in a healthy manner in your emotions, in your spiritual capacity, in your social capacity. You know, you may seem to have an active social life, but you may easily be socially dysfunctional with all your peers. You're just all dysfunctional together. Does that make a real society? Who knows? Again, we have been also conditioned, because we've been poked and prodded and bullied, to be defensive. You know I'm defensive too. I'm tired of shit. I've been taking shit for years and years and years in my way. I'm sure most of my listeners here have been taking shit years and years and years in their own way. Even the bullies have been taking shit, you know, in their own way. And, you know, none of us want to take shit to the point that we're just isolating ourselves or turning away or whatever. And that's not wrong, in my opinion. You have to defend your situation. However, the whole point is to make yourself stronger. And then you step back, and the shit will still be thrown at you. You just don't have to take it. So can we be in a situation where we digest our fate and have shit thrown at us, but we don't have to take the shit? We don't have to throw it back either. We can dodge it, or we can deflect it, or, you know, we can just catch it and drop it. Or let it go back to sender in some way. I don't know. But we don't have to be defensive in a way that is dysfunctional. But I don't disagree with being defensive. I mean, you don't have to set up barriers if you want to defend yourself. So there are many, many ways that you can actually digest your fate and turn it into your destiny, but none of them are really exclusively logically, you know, oh, just give us the 5 easy steps on how to do this. No, it's not one of those videos. None of my videos are, or ours, at least with Ron's, because I don't do any personal ones. You know, I don't believe in that in terms of life-altering scenarios. I mean, real deep stuff is obviously called deep because it's not 5 easy steps. Everybody would be doing it if it was 5. That's a con job. You know, our laziness, sometimes we like to shape the world in accordance to our preconceptions. Everybody does. I do. Sometimes when you're creative, you want to shape the world according to your destiny, and everybody comes out and tells you, no, how do you know that it's your destiny? Well, it's my destiny. No, you know, but at the same time, yes, I could be fooled. Well, trial and error. What's going on? I know I don't have to be fulfilled and successful to know I'm doing the right thing. I just need to recognize my process and see how it resonates with me. To see how it resonates with me. Because if it resonates, it might be some addiction. It might be some con job that's taking advantage of some temporary thing, like the need to step back from all the shit. I have a need to step back from all the shit because I'm full of scars from all the mud attacks and everything and all the bullying. It's starting to, the sound is coming back.
Oh, it's been all continuous almost.
Really? The high-pitched beep thing. You know, and when I removed my video camera and put it back in, it just disappeared for me. So I don't know. Maybe I thought it was...
I don't know either. Keep going.
Well, all of this...
4 minutes left.
Okay. Even though, you know, none of these crazy things are under my control, and it is part of fate, you know, like the high-pitched hum, I do want to see where it fits. I don't believe things are random. Even if there's no conspiracy behind the stupid high-pitched thing, even if it's just a technical glitch, the overall pattern fits in with what I'm doing. In other words, I like to use everything that happens toward my destiny. I don't have to make shit up to do so. I just have to put all of my experiences in the perspective where it's, why? Economy of energy, that's why. Economy of purpose, economy, you know, you and all of us can only do so much. We have finite reserves of actual life force, you know, at this point. Oh, no, they're infinite, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but how much can we access in any given time? So when you are perceptive, when you do spend your energy in understanding everything that happens and fitting it into your destiny path, whether anybody else tells you it's selfish or not, it is self-serving, because self-serving means your own individuality is reaching toward its destiny. There's no greater service to self that you can do than nourishing your destiny path. And I'm not saying fulfilling your destiny, because the destiny path is always open-ended on all levels. So, you know, there's no such thing. The fulfillment basically implies a kind of closure. Okay, it's done, you know. No, you nourish your destiny and you keep evolving and you keep growing, because then things start to become clear of not just, oh, I have answers now of who I am. No, the clarity is in the doing, you know, in the being and doing, as one person said. Okay, yeah, I know. So there's a lot of things, people who have infiltrated this little world of Ron Van Dyke, you know, on his Facebook page, and, you know, the one I'm familiar with a little bit here, and people you talk to, the interviews, the celebrities that came and went, so to speak, the little micro celebrities, and all of that, all of them had something to contribute. And a lot of people say things like being and doing, you know, and then the 555 of that ambassador guy, and, you know, other things that may be useful. And when I talk to any of these, you know, that's what I wanted to get. Okay, this thing you say, let's take it out and let's put it in a context that can nourish each of our destinies. I don't care who a person is. I don't care who, you know, I care who I am because I'm experiencing myself, but I don't care the labels, you know, about people. So eventually this, as with anything, in closing, as with anything, our path is bumpy at first. And when I say at first, it can last for years and years and years, and it doesn't matter. You have to let it run its course so long as you are in the process of digesting, and learn how to digest and learn how to ferment. This great alchemist, who is also the father of modern chemistry, inorganic chemistry, Paracelsus, basically he had a famous lecture where he says, this is the secret of alchemy and the secret of everything. Put a plate, the plate was covered, and everybody was, oh, what's this? I shall reveal to you. So he pulled it out, and there was a big, fat, stinking turd. And basically what he wanted to say was everything is fermentation. Everything transmutes one thing into another thing. Nothing remains as is. And fermentation is a messy process. It stinks. We don't like it. See, everybody was like, you know, he lost his credibility. They all turned away. They thought they were being insulted. But in reality, he was making a point. We don't like the truth of fermentation because the thing is, no, see, the turd is an intermediary product. You got to have bacteria work on the turd. It'll become compost, and then it'll nourish the crops that feed us. So we need things to run their course, but we cannot have them run their course unless we participate in accordance to who we are, in accordance to what our destiny is, and that's what we need to open up to. We discover it because it's there. We don't go looking out for it somewhere. So all of this, everything, you know, don't let the stupid glitch in the middle of the video discourage you or get you pissed off, because it's an example like that turd. It's not a pleasant example. And unfortunately, you can actually jump over the glitch. But it's the part that your life will be interfered with. Fate will fuck with you, you know. That's what it does. Sometimes it seems to reward you, but I don't think fate cares. I don't even think it's personified, you know. It's an interactive dynamic. Destiny, on the other hand, is who you are and who you want to be, because the two are essentially, in potential at least, the same thing. So please, take heart and lift up your head and learn to walk tall again if you've been stooping. And if you haven't, realize where your feet are going. Don't keep looking at the sky. You know, everything can be balanced or imbalanced, but you remain who you are in terms of what you mean to yourself or can mean to yourself. These are all platitudes, but there is some meaning behind them. And I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you from my perspective, of course. So thank you. Namaste. And in a way, we are one. In a way.
Thank you, Aristo.